Joining us now on the ground live in Tel Aviv is Bloomberg's Galit Alstein. Galit, thanks very much for joining us. Give us the lay of the land as it stands right now. What do we know about how many of these attackers are still within Israel's borders and what kind of damage they've done?
Yeah, so the honest truth is that we don't know how many of the attackers are still in Israel. We do know that most of them, if not all, have been contained at this time. We've been hearing messages today from the IDF that they've basically been able to get hold of 1,000 of the attackers. So even if a few of them are still around, then basically the situation on that part has been contained. The damages are obviously very, very big. We're looking at a constantly rising death toll. We're now speaking about roughly 800 people that were killed on Saturday's events and the attacks that took place inside Israel in the Gaza vicinity.
What have they done? I mean, this wasn't really a military attack. It seems it was aimed at civilians. We've heard reports of, execution-style murders, of rapes, of hostage taking. And how is Israel expected to respond?
I cannot describe what happened last Saturday as anything other than a horror show, if you'd like. We basically saw hundreds of armed attackers from Hamas go into Israel, break the fence in tens of places where they managed to breach it, which is also a mystery, by the way, and that is still being investigated. How did they even manage to do that? And once they had managed to do that, they basically infiltrated a few settlements and communities, Israeli settlements and communities that are very close to the fence with Gaza. And from there on, they just all hell broke loose. They just took hostages. They kept people in their homes, under gun threat. Some of them went around and shot everyone they saw. And that is also why the death toll is so high. And it is, in fact, the highest death toll that Israel has seen in a single day since it was founded in 1948.
It has been compared to 1973 because of, I imagine, mostly the surprise element, right? The intelligence community in Israel missed it in 1973, and it looks like they've missed it again now. How is that possible with attacks that seem to have been in the planning for quite a long time?
You're absolutely right, and I'm sure that it will be very thoroughly investigated. When you ask IDF officials and government officials at this time this very same questions, they do stress that right now, is the time to contain the situation, which is basically been done in the south of Israel, and then fight back. And only then they say we will have the time to investigate and find out what had been going on and what went wrong. So we are hearing these little bits and fractions of reports about what actually went on there and what happened there. But the truth is that we still don't know, and we haven't heard any official comments, at least on any investigation.
Galit, what do we know about the response Israel is planning? These attacks came out of Gaza, but we've also heard reports of missiles coming out of the south of Lebanon as well. How will Israel respond?
Yeah, so today we have seen a bit of mortar fire, shots fired from Lebanon into Israel. It was nothing major, and we also saw an infiltration of a few terrorists into Israel from the northern border. I think that 2 or 3 of them were caught and shot by defense forces, and one had managed to escape. But this is a very small scale. And another interesting thing is that Hezbollah had said that they had nothing to do with that. They just took the whole incident off. And that is interesting because, everyone is looking to see now if Hezbollah is going to join in and even escalate the tensions that are already going on with Gaza. On Israel's response, we're seeing a lot of preparation. It is very obvious. I think the most major thing that we saw today is a declaration by the IDF that they have called 300,000 reservists to come and serve in the army at this time. So this is a very high number. I think it's unprecedented. I don't think we've seen, this sort of draft ever before, and settlements in the south of Israel being evacuated. And so we're seeing a lot of preparation. We're hearing very, very aggressive comments from the prime minister, from the defense minister, things like, we're going to change the Middle East, we're going to change Israel's future, we're going to dismantle Hamas's all the military abilities. These are goals that have not been set before when Israel went out on military operations in Gaza. So at least the preparations and what we're hearing speech-wise sounds very, very different than what we've been hearing until today.